Chapter 6. Contact. The ridge was quiet. Too quiet. Kessler moved in slow, deliberate steps, boots sinking into the muddy earth with each stride. The rain had stopped hours ago, but the ground still hadn't recovered. Pools of water lay stagnant in shell craters like unblinking eyes. The forest, skeletal and half-burned from artillery fire, reached overhead in spindly arms, casting crooked shadows across the path. He was supposed to be finishing a standard recon sweep, mark the boundary, record terrain shifts, log radiation spikes if any. Nothing fancy, nothing dangerous. And he'd lied about clearing this sector. He'd seen the thermal anomaly 2 nights ago during Golem's repair cycle. Just a blip. Barely enough to notice, but it didn't make sense. Too small to be a reactor. Too warm to be natural. He'd buried it in the report. Said the hillside was barren. No significant structures. Now he was going back alone. The slope dipped into a valley choked with debris. Shattered rail lines twisted up from the dirt like ribs from an old grave. A collapsed overpass loomed above, draped in rusted cables and the skeletal remains of support trusses. He climbed the embankment, ducking beneath a half-crushed boxcar. A burned-out rail signal still blinked faintly, powered by something stubborn and forgotten. That was when he saw it again. Just beneath the wreckage, a faint seam in the rock. Square. Clean. Out of place. Kessler crouched, brushing dirt aside with the back of his glove. There it was, a hatch. Old, reinforced. Hidden beneath timber and rubble, but not destroyed. He checked for tripwires. None. No obvious power source either. Drawing a pry tool from his belt, he worked the latch slowly, feeling each notch give way. A sharp click, and the hatch opened on its hinges with a groan that echoed into the earth. The ladder was metal, cold to the touch, and slick with condensation. He took it one rung at a time, rifle slung across his back, dropping into the dark. The air below was stale, machine oil, dust, and something else. Burnt copper, like singed electronics. Kessler dropped the last meter and landed silently on grated flooring. The glow of a low-power filament bulb flickered somewhere deeper inside. He moved cautiously, sweeping the shadows. This wasn't just a hideout. It was a lab, a workshop. Tools were arranged with almost religious care. Calibrated instruments, half-assembled circuit boards, modular armor plating spread out on workbenches. A cooling unit buzzed in the corner, faint but functional. Battery packs, scraps of old Allied and German tech, hybridized into strange, elegant shapes. One wall was covered in hand-drawn schematics. Some he recognized, most he didn't. Mech limbs, servo clusters, neural link relay diagrams. The handwriting was tight, precise, a mix of German, English, and something that looked like a machine's thought made flesh. And in the center of the room stood a partial mech torso. Its plating sanded smooth neural cords exposed like veins. On the workbench beside it lay a helmet, unlike anything he'd seen in the field. White, bone white, not bleached by weather, but deliberately painted. A single crimson stripe ran from front to back, thin, deliberate, precise. He reached for it. "Don't." The voice cracked the silence like a whip. Kessler froze. Behind him, just inside the hatch, stood Anakah. Her hair was tied back hastily, face streaked with soot and grease. A sidearm trembled in her grip, though her eyes held steady, focused. She wasn't dressed like a mechanic today. Combat boots, reinforced vest, a small comms node blinking on her collar. She looked like someone who had made peace with violence, but never grown fond of it. Kessler raised both hands, palms open. "I was just looking for something to report," she snapped. He didn't answer. She took a step closer, keeping the pistol on him. "You weren't supposed to find this." Kessler glanced around again, this time slower. "What is it?" "You know what it is." He nodded. "A hidden lab. A war effort not sanctioned by either side. Tech that shouldn't exist." "You working for them?" he asked, his voice quieter now. "Command?" "No one," she said. "Not anymore." The words hung there like a broken wire. Dangerous, frayed. Kessler looked back at the mech on the table. "You're building something." She didn't deny it. He gestured gently with his chin. "That helmet, red stripe, it's not decoration, that's a code." She hesitated. "It's recognition. For something that doesn't exist. Not officially." There was silence again, not angry, just heavy. "You could shoot me," Kessler said, after a while. "But you won't." Her grip faltered slightly. "Because you know I've had chances," he said, "and I didn't take them either." Her breath hitched, but her aim didn't waver. "You don't know me." "No," he admitted, "but I've seen you work. On Golem. On the comms. You've been helping us behind the curtain." A beat passed. "I'm trying to fix something," she said, finally. "Something I helped break." Kessler looked around the room again. "Whatever it is, it's bigger than either of us." Another pause. "I didn't see anything," he said quietly. "What?" "I didn't see a hatch. I didn't climb down. And I didn't see a woman working on a machine that shouldn't exist." She looked at him then, not with suspicion, but something closer to understanding. "You're a strange soldier," she said. Kessler smiled faintly. "I hear that a lot." He moved toward the ladder, passing her slowly. She didn't stop him. At the top, he placed one hand on the hatch edge and paused. "If you need time," he said, "I'll make sure you have it." "Why?" "Because the world's already broken. Might as well protect someone who's trying to put a piece of it back together." He climbed out and disappeared into the light. Back at camp, no one asked why his patrol took longer than usual. Falk was still missing. Sato was rewiring Golem's left arm, and Command was too busy preparing for another push toward the western ridge. Kessler filed his report. Valley clear. No contact. He sat by the fire that night, the stars half-choked by smoke above, his rifle across his lap, and a quiet he couldn't shake in his chest. He hadn't told anyone. Not because he was afraid, because something in that workshop felt like the first honest thing he'd seen in weeks. And it didn't belong to the war, it belonged to her. And now, in a way, it belonged to him.